Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm working on another tarot card. This one might actually be one of my favorite cards. It really exemplified a lot of the things that I wanted out of this deck and a lot of elements that I used to put in my work, and it feels reminiscent of a time of my artwork that I enjoy. So let's just talk a bit about the process. Today can be kind of a chill paint with me while I work on my card kind of a day. But yeah, this is the Magician card for the tarot deck. So this card can mean resourcefulness, power, action, or inspired action. And of course I wanted him to feel very magical since he's the magician. So this one in particular, out of the whole deck, I knew that I really wanted to push some glowing elements and certain details that could tell more of a magical, fantastical story to it. I really wanted him to be holding or controlling a magical element as well. So when I was first starting this, I wasn't exactly sure what form that would take. If it would just be kind of this general smoky ball of glow was my first thought, which was really just very personality-less. It was pretty bland in my opinion. That was my first inclination, though. It's kind of a motif that I used to do more, is this like smoking effect, and I kind of miss that. I'd like to bring that back a little bit more, find a way to update it and have more of a story that I can adapt and tell with that. But yeah, that's an element that felt reminiscent of older stuff that I had done, but it also didn't really have a very story-centric purpose in the way that I first thought about it. So as I considered more options for how I could portray this magic that he is tangibly holding, I ended up coming up with an in-between between that smoky effect and something with more personality, which is a snake. I wanted to do this animal theme so that they would have an actual head and eyes and a face, and there was something there, and it could feel like it was like something more tangibly friendly, I guess. I really love drawing animals, and I don't do it nearly enough. So that was a fun excuse to include another animal in a card, make it really magical. And the snake itself, the shape of its body naturally inclines itself to be transformed into more of this smoke-like effect. So it really just kind of connected the dots between this more magical but unspecific kind of shape of smoke to something that could feel a little bit more story-driven and like it has more personality. So that was this really perfect tie-in. I was really excited once I had decided that it was going to be a snake. And the print of the Magician is actually available as the Patreon exclusive print for this month. So if you'd like to get a print of him, the only way to do that is to make sure to sign up for the print tier by the last day of this month. And if you do that, you get the print of him as well as the sticker pack from this month. And eventually he'll be one of the cards in the tarot deck that I'm releasing. It will be released next year. There is a link down in the description that'll take you over to my Patreon so you can get yourself signed up for this. And it was really refreshing to work on this card in particular. I've been doing a lot of the tarot cards as full body illustrations, which I really like. I like that I can tell more of a character story and focus on the character itself within the card and how they portray their meanings. But I realized that I wanted to do something a little bit different with this one. I wanted to break out of that mold. It was getting a little bit repetitive where I was creating compositions that were feeling very reminiscent of several past tarot cards that I've done, which to a degree is fine. I want them to feel connected and cohesive, but I needed some change. So I decided that this card was not going to be a full body character illustration so much as more of a zoomed in character illustration, and an illustration that I could really focus on his face and this magical effect and that connection between the snake and him. And making that decision really helped open up the composition for this. And by open up, I mean open up more options. It's a lot tighter and closer together. He uses up a lot more of that space. There's not as much negative space or background behind him, and I loved that. It was really refreshing to work on this. It's not surprising for me, but it's really nice to see that sometimes I just need to give myself some parameters that are outside of what I've been doing to feel really motivated and connected and recharged with working on a new piece like this. Then it was time to start adding in the shadow, and that is really where I think this piece started coming to life for me, since I wanted such a strong lighting source from below the face. This snake, adding in the shadow just really helped it feel really atmospheric, and I want to do a lot more of this. It's a lot more of a hurdle to do really dramatic lighting sources like this, because I have to find such specific light references for how the light falls on the face and the stuff around it and the human form. It takes a lot more time to make sure that I have the references that I need. But I'm always so happy with the process of painting it and then the final result, because it's just so different and striking. I'd like to do this more. I'd like to give more attention and focus into working through the need to have a specific type of reference. I think that maybe I need to be taking my own or paying for certain types of references. I do pay for a lot of references. That's actually really helpful, but maybe I need to be digging out specific ones that have lighting sources the way that I want like this. I think that that's an area that I would love to explore more, and I'm feeling a little like I need to find as many sources for new inspiration, for new passion in my artwork as possible, because I've been feeling a little burnt out. I've been feeling burnt out for years now. I should just put that out there. I mean, I say it all the time, but anything like that sparks this interest, and I can feel like I'm actually studying and improving because I'm learning something new every time I work on it. I want to bring that into the way that I create artwork, and dramatic shadows like this is absolutely one of those. It really checks the box. It makes me feel excited about that final product and excited about what I learned from it, and I want more of that. So towards the end of this piece, or like maybe the last third of it, I spend a lot of time just finessing how the glow effect of the snake affects the lighting on the character, what kind of colors I want the snake to be, how I want the colors of the magician to reference the snake. There's just so many little details that can really lock together a piece and make it feel really cohesive or interesting or exciting. And then there's a lot of things that if I do it not quite right, it just doesn't quite work. And I find that I tend to get really stuck in a certain loop when I'm working digitally, because I can rework things endlessly for eternity. So I have been a lot more aware of this problem that I have, where I just get really noodly with the work. I just keep working and working and working on the same thing. I redo things so that they're different but not better. They're just different, a different value, a slightly different color. And I'm trying to be more concise with my decision making. I'm trying to, instead of just mindlessly changing something and seeing how it affects it, I need to make an actual attack plan and then put it into effect, and then I can course correct. And I think that would help a lot with my digital art actually just feeling a little bit less of a mind numbing process sometimes. Sometimes when I get to the end of a piece, I should say, like that whole chunk of like the finishing details, it can just really suck my brain energy, where I just get in this like totally thoughtless zone where I just change things. But yeah, luckily this piece, it wasn't really terrible as far as how much time I spent reworking certain things or testing out how it would look. I just made some slight shifts, and eventually it just kind of all came together. This process I do think is really important, and a very helpful thing that digital allows me to do is that it does allow me to get things the way that I'm really excited and happy with, but there is a fine line. There's a balance between too much and being thoughtless about it and being careful and concise with it. And don't forget, The Magician is the exclusive print for this month over on Patreon, so make sure to sign up for the print tier. You'll get the Magician print and the sticker pack for this month. And you have until the very last day to go sign up. So there's a link down in the description that'll take you over there. And of course, I want to give a huge thank you to all of my patrons for supporting me over there. You guys are absolutely incredible. I can't thank you enough for your support. But that is it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.